Rocky Mountain Boys. So put your hands together for the Lone Star Bluegrass Band.
Martha White, goodness gracious sakes alive, Martha White, you make better biscuits, cakes, and pie. With Martha White self-rising flour, that one all-purpose flour. Martha White self-rising flour, got how to rise. Martha White, goodness gracious sakes alive, Martha White, you make better biscuits, cakes, and pies. With Martha White self-rising flour, that one all-purpose flour. Martha White self-rising flour, got how to rise. Sitting on a log, a finger in the trigger, and eye on the home. Let me be a solid dog. Let me be a solid dog. I won't be your man at all. Let me be a solid dog. Let go, shot the lower in Mexico. Let me be your solid dog. Let me be your solid dog. I won't be your man at all. Let me be your solid dog. Salty dog, what the heck's a salty dog? Let me be a salty dog. Let me be a salty dog. I won't be your man at all. Let me be a salty dog.
coming up here is one of the best guys around. Great friend, great banjo picker, Mr. Mike Casey.
Oh, well, that'd be fine. I did meet Earl a couple times. As luck would have it, the last time I met him, I got to sit with him for quite a while at the Gibson place, and we just sat there and he just told me, he just talking just like we'd known each other all our lives. He's the nicest man, and we just drank coffee, and he signed the inside of the resonator here on this banjo, so I'll always treasure that. And I remember we were sitting there talking, and Louise came by and leaned over the counter and told Earl she was going down the mall there shopping. And I thought, well, that's just like old home week here. But it was just like, just kind of magical for me, because I'd grown up listening to Earl. When I was raised in Midland, Texas, and needless to say, there's no bluegrass in Midland, Texas. Back in 1963, there wasn't a lot. So I'd been admiring him for all those years, and finally got to meet him, and I was just thrilled. So I know I won't ever do him justice, but he was certainly there pushing me on, telling me that you didn't get that right. We're going to do a little Cumberland Gap here.
Sims, one of our board of directors, and he's going to, also the leader of the Buffalo Nickel Band, he's going to sing a Scruggs, Flatt & Scruggs signature tune called You Are My Flower. Chris is going to finger pick it on the guitar just like Earl used to do, so take it away, Kevin.
I do nothing just like Earl did.
Summertime, the morning clouds begin to fall. You can sing this song and say to one and all, you are my flower that's blooming in the mountain so high. You are my flower that's blooming there for me. Life will be worthwhile. Forget the tears and don't forget to smile. You are my flower that blooms in the mountain so high. You are my flower that's blooming there for me. are my flower that's blooming in the mountain so high. You are my flower that's blooming there for me.
The next guy up we have is Greg English. He's one of the English brothers. They sing traditional cowboy music, but Greg has learned how to play the banjo, and I think his inspiration is somebody that we all know of. Make welcome here Mr. Greg English. He's going to do 2 special songs for Earl Scruggs Special. Greg English.
Back when I was 13, which is many years ago, I was sitting there in front of the TV, and there was a guy picking the banjo that just the first time up to that point that really caught my attention. And it was not Earl Scruggs. It was a guy by the name of Johnny Hartford. And that started the passion to learn to play the banjo. And it wasn't long that my next birthday, my dad bought me a banjo. And very fortunately got linked up with a great banjo picker named Ronnie Rebstock to instruct me, and he introduced me to Earl Scruggs. I bought that hardback black Earl's How to Play the Banjo, and just spent a lot of time buried in that book. And did get to meet him. My wife surprised me when we were in college, took me out to the Lubbock fair. And lo and behold, Earl Scruggs and the Earl Scruggs Review with his sons, they were doing a great show, and it was a little bit modified from the true bluegrass, but they still let Earl play some of his tunes, and I got to go backstage and meet him, and that was a real highlight. And so he's always inspired me over all the years. And here's a couple of his great tunes, Earl's Breakdown. Here we go.
Okay, the next picker that we have up here is a legendary Texas bluegrass picker. It's Rolf Seeker and his wife Beata, and they live in the Austin area, and they are great banjo and bluegrass performers. They came all the way down here for the show tonight, so please put your hands together and make welcome Mr. Rolf Seeker and Beata.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody to invite us over here. We haven't been here at the Baba Saturdays for a long time. Thanks, Ron, for having us here. And on the other hand, I want to thank these wonderful friends here. Actually, most of them are Facebook friends. And so we get to pick with them tonight, and that's a wonderful opportunity. If Germany hadn't lost the First World War and the Second World War, I probably wouldn't have picked up the banjo. So there's a good thing about it, you know. When in the 60s we had American Forces Network in Germany, and they played a lot of Earl Scruggs stuff on the radio, and I got inspired by that. So it's the military actually that's who is responsible for me picking the banjo today. So anyway, this is my wife Beata Seeker. She will play the rhythm guitar. And we picked out a little number that was originally written for Chuck Norris, I believe. It's called Chucking the Corn. 1, 2, 3.
tell you that I almost became a blood brother with Earl Scruggs. I met Earl 3 times. One time he invited me over to his house in Madison, which is near Nashville, and the other 2 times, I believe, one time at the IBMA and another time at the 50th, or what is it, 90th birthday? 50th birthday of Gibson birthday at the Sheraton in Nashville. And when he invited me over to his house, we switched banjos. And he played on my banjo and a little piece of wire was sticking out, and he poked his thumb with my wire, with this wire, and I said, man, now I'm responsible that Earl's gonna die. And I was scared as hell, and so, but he said, well, that happens a lot, and it happened a lot to him, and he found a solution. He, you know, created a little loop and ran it back into the hole so that things like that wouldn't happen. But later on, I thought maybe I should have poked myself too and held my thumb against his thumb. You know, that was a perfect opportunity. I want to do a number here that is one of the Flat and Scruggs numbers, and pretty funny number. I think Beat is going to sing the lead on it. It's called I Go Steppin' 2. 1, 2, 3. One that Earl played on the early records. It's called Foggy Mountain Chimes. I don't know if you ever heard that one. I'm going to try to do this here today. It goes something like this. 1, 2, 3.
talking about their Earl Scruggs' influence on them, and I guess I haven't said anything about that yet. I will say this for sure, that Earl Scruggs changed my life more than any other band ever has. I started playing the banjo because of the movie Deliverance. I saw that little kid up there, and I said, if that little kid can do it, I can do it. Of course, I found out a couple of years later he wasn't playing any of that stuff. It was someone else, Eric Weisberg. And I started out playing the banjo with 2 fingers, and I put my knuckles down, and I thought I was doing really good. And I found out that that wasn't right. And so I went and bought Earl Scruggs' instruction book. And I opened it up, and I looked down and I said, picks? What are picks? I didn't even know what picks were. And he said, 3 fingers? 3 fingers to play with, oh my. So I had to learn all over again after a couple of months of just going nuts on it. And it led me in the right direction, I think. But I made a decision pretty quickly that it was a lot easier to play like me than it was to try to be someone else. So I kind of did that all my life. So tonight, I'm not playing like Earl Scruggs, and I can't play like Earl Scruggs, but I can sure have Earl Scruggs in my heart when I'm playing for y'all. And I will tell you one thing that occurred to me. I didn't know what I was going to say when I got up here that you don't already know. But it happened last week. I realized just how important Earl Scruggs was to the world. I was watching the induction, the 2011 inductions for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They bring in Donovan was there. Sunshine came softly through my, all that kind of stuff. Room full of rock and roll musicians and rock and roll enthusiasts. And they did a little section on the people that had passed away. And they would have a lot of famous, some very obscure blues people, but famous rock people and this and that. And every once in a while people would applaud, you know. All of a sudden I was shocked they put Earl Scruggs up there. The whole room applauded. Rock and roll musicians. Earl Scruggs touched everybody. He was amazing. And one of the most humble and nice people that you could ever meet. And I'm so sorry to say that I never met him in person. I got to see him perform. And I guess I could have at any time. Josh Graves told me, just come on up to Nashville, I'll take you over there. And I just never did it. I just felt that Earl Scruggs would always be there. And now that he's gone, he's still everywhere. He's here with us tonight for sure. So that's my little story with Earl Scruggs. We're going to play, thank you. We're going to play Flat Scruggs songs, Earl Scruggs songs until they kick us off. And it will not be like you heard them do it. Flat Scruggs really brought to the forefront the sound of just the fiddle and the banjo, and it was a really wonderful sound that not many people really did before. And Randy and I have done this very seldomly, but I think that we might be able to get by it tonight. We'll do one called the Katy Hill.
we overlooked the fact, this whole band did, that Randy just jammed with Earl Scruggs about 9 months ago.
No, before that.
What? Didn't you jam with Earl Scruggs?
You went to Earl's house a couple of years ago.
Oh, it was a couple of years ago. My, how time flies.
Yeah, we're going to get Randy to tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. We walked in on a jam session there in Nashville just by chance that Earl happened to be sitting on the couch when we walked in. And got to sit and visit, went to dinner with him that night, and lo and behold, he had his banjo, so jam session broke out. We got to pick a little. And it was funny, there was one story that he shared with me back when Flat and Scruggs were first getting started. And I guess Beverly Hillbillies had just come out a little bit, and the guys were talking about how good a thing they had going. You know, they, I guess Lester Flatt called Earl and said, look, I got to come over and talk to you. We've got something we really need to discuss. So he shows up and he tells him, he says, look, Earl, we've got something really good going here, and we can't let jealousy break this up. He said, there'll be nights when the crowd really enjoys what I'm doing a little more than you do, and it'll be the other way around a few times. So, you know, when those things happen, let's just play it calm and keep this good thing going. About 6 months later, they'd been on the road for a while, and they came into a drive-in movie theater. And up on the marquee, it said, now appearing Earl Scruggs. Lester Flatt had been omitted completely, and of course he jumped to the conclusion that Earl had tried to take over the show. And Earl just brought him across to the side, and he says, now son, listen, there's going to be some nights when they like be a little bit more than they do. And this is one of those nights. And actually, it turned out they didn't have any tees for the marquee, so they couldn't put Lester Flatt up there. I thought that was pretty funny. It was a pretty special time. Really nice guy.
Very, very cool. Thank you.
Kick it off, Earl.
Far away, my
man that has had so much to do with running this show for many, many years and recently retired, and we want to thank him a whole lot, Mr. Ed Friday on the bass. When we were Ron was trying to put this thing together, he did it. Ron Hayden has done so much for this show. Thank you, Ron. Ed was going to be the bass player, at least part of the time, and he was really looking forward to doing this next song with us. And then he emailed me and said, you know, I only have Bela Fleck's version of this, and it's in a whole different key. And I said, no. So I looked on YouTube, and I found Earl Scruggs doing it live. I said, here's what we're doing. And you practiced it.
We did.
All right. Now, this is one that Chris and I rarely do, and we're going to give it the best shot we can and see what happens with this thing. It's called Polka on a Banjo.
There's a sweet young miss I love to kiss, listen close and hear. She's not my only love, she's got enough love, she just have to share it. She stands 5 feet tall, high heels and all, she already knows. She's got some competition from a composition of a broken on the old banjo. Polka on a banjo, make that 5-string high. Polka on a banjo, give it all you got. Polka on a banjo, watch those fingers roll. Of all songs, I guess the one that I love best is the polka on the old banjo. And when they start the band, she takes me by the hand. I begin to swing. She knows I never miss the chance to steal a kiss. It's the polka with her. Cause I have heard, once I have heard one song I love so. He's caught in the middle, just playing second fiddle to the polka on the old banjo. Polka on a banjo, make that 5-string high. Polka on a banjo, give it all you got. Polka on a banjo, watch those fingers roll. Of all songs, I guess the one that I love best is the polka on the old banjo.
You know, it seems like you sang most of the tunes of the Scruggs tunes, but there's one that's missing that we didn't quite get. Maybe we could have all of our pickers up on stage, and we'll do the last one called Foggy Mountain Special. All right, this is going to be an old-fashioned banjo hoedown here, so I'm just going to get out of the way and let them rip it up here. so much. And what a great show and what a great tribute to Earl Scruggs this was tonight. Thank you all for coming.